To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is the Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Shawn Whittington. I am a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted house, my very haunted house. And it's been quiet today, and I hope it stays that way because I think they're all excited for my guest. And I know that's why you all tuned in. I'm excited to meet him too. First time on the show, first time meeting him. I hear great things about him. It's going to be a great show. Um, but first, let's check the prayer urn. Nicole R. from Las Vegas, Nevada. Nicole, do I know you? I'm indigenous. I think I know you, Nicole. I used to live at a reservation that you came to. Yes, I know you. I know you, Nicole. How are you? I'm now Catholic. I do get some pushback from some tribal members. Can you offer up a prayer to give me strength? Nicole, God bless you. It's so nice to hear from you. Reach out to me after the show and tell me how things are going. And I do remember you very well. And I remember that case very well at the reservation. You know what? You already probably know what prayer I'm going to reach for. And I can't think of another prayer that is more appropriate for you. And that is the prayer to the Lily of the Mohawks. This is a prayer to Kateri Tekakwitha, who was the first indigenous Catholic saint. And you know her story. Her whole family died from smallpox, I believe it was, and she had it. She was the only one that survived. Uh, Virtually blinded, terribly scarred up, and she was walking through the forest one day, and the Virgin Mary appeared to her, and she was Catholic ever since, and she went on to become a saint. So I'm going to offer this prayer up to you, Nicole. Okay. Name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Blessed Kateri, you are revered as the mystic of the American wilderness. Though orphaned at the age of 4 and left with a scarred face and damaged eyesight from illness, you were esteemed among the Mohawk tribe. When you asked to be baptized a Christian, you subjected yourself to abuse by your people and were forced to run away. You endured May trials, but still flowered in prayer and holiness, dedicating yourself totally to Christ. I ask you to be my spiritual guide along my journey through life. Through your intercession, I pray that I may always be loyal to my faith in all things. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Nicole, God bless you. Like I said, I am so touched to hear from you again. Yes, that was a very interesting case, and I wrote about my second book is coming out Memorial Day, 1 month away. I'll send you a copy, Nicole, because there's a chapter in there about that case that I worked on your reservation, and you may enjoy that. So keep in touch. Reach out to me. Let me know how you're doing after the show. Okay. Can't believe I got through that without getting emotional. That was a great case. Nicole's a wonderful woman of indigenous heritage. The Paranormal Ministry mailbag. What do we got in there? Rob S. from New York. Another New York guy. Uh-oh. My New York Rangers are playing the New Jersey Devils tonight. And and my co-producer's a Devils fan, so he may not like what Rob has to say. As long as there's nothing about hockey here.
You'll be safe if there's no hockey.
Okay, there's no hockey. Rob S. from New York. I heard there are Jewish exorcists. Yes, there are. Is that true? And have you ever worked with one of them? This is a very interesting question because, again, my second book comes out Memorial Day, and there's a chapter on there about an exorcism case I worked with a wonderful Messianic Jewish rabbi exorcist. That story is going to keep you up at night. And that was one of the most wonderful experiences of my life. So yes, on everything. There are Jewish exorcists, and I have worked with one time, and that's in the new book. Um, and so there you have it. There you have it. If there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. If you go there to visit, there's a lot of cool things to see. Keep in mind that my wife and I don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So, brothers and sisters, trust me, I know times are tough. But if you notice the donate button and you're able to send my ministry in a small donation, click on it and do that. It'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. I'm also a certified spiritual advisor. So there's a place on the website. If you have a spiritual issue not attached to the paranormal and you'd like to speak to me, there's a place on the website where you can make an appointment to speak with me about those issues. But don't leave the website without navigating over to the page called the Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course/book. On that page, you'll find the Ghost Store. Lots of cool things to buy in there if you go for that sort of stuff. But scroll down past all that stuff to purchase. You'll see my new haunted autobiography, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry. And I quote, scariest book I ever published. That was Annette Munich, owner of Stellium Books, my publisher. But don't let that scare you off of purchasing a copy.
Hey, you know what? You got to stop calling that your new book.
You know what? As I was saying that, I was
your new book.
I know, I do. As the words were coming out, I'll have to work on my opening after the show tonight. So yeah, that's not my newest book. My newest book comes out on Memorial Day. But if you haven't done your good deed for the day yet, part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my books goes to support stjude.org, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, and the ASPCA. It's a no-brainer. You get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. How cool is that? You can get the book autographed, and it comes to you enclosed in a house blessing kit if you purchase it off of the website. Of course, you can get it a little less expensive on Amazon. And I thank Zach for reminding me my new book, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry 2, the second book, comes out Memorial Day, 1 month from now. And so it's a great time to get the first book, get all caught up before you rush right out and get the second book. And it'll be the same thing. You can get the second book at Amazon. You can also get it off of my website when it's available, autographed, and it'll come to you in a house blessing kit. And that book, I want you guys to say your prayers. Don't read it alone. Don't read it at night, and say your prayers before and after you read that book. That one's, my publisher already told me it was scarier than the first book. God bless her. She had her hands full with a lot of paranormal activity in her home while she was trying to edit my book, of all things. So God bless her for hanging in there. So there you go. Scroll down a little bit further past the book. You'll see the Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course. It is a 12-week online college level course that I offer. And it's a course for all you true warriors for Christ out there that feel a calling and a longing to want to have more knowledge when it comes to drawing your line in the sand, making a stand, circling the wagons, and putting up a good fight against, God forbid, true evil if it ever comes calling. That's the course for you. You can enroll in the course there at the website. If you want more information about the course before making that type of commitment, there is a Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course Facebook page. But most importantly, please keep all of my former, current, and future students in your prayers. And all my students that graduate get a stunning diploma, certificate of completion, suited for framing, along with some other very special blessed gifts that you can only get from yours truly. Okay, the moment of truth, the reason why you all tuned in. First time on the show, first time I'm getting to meet him. I'm so excited because I hear great things about him. He's attached. He's got a lot of things going on. Used to be, still is, a great street performer out here in the Vegas area. street magician, seer, psychic, works through the NAPN, Paranormal News Network, loves church. Just this is going to be a great show. So please give a big Paranormal Ministry family welcome to the one and only John the Vegas Seer.
Hello, everyone.
How are
I'm
you, brother?
excited to be on this show. I've been looking forward to this.
And we have all been looking forward to having you too. Listen, you know my rule. This is your show. Relax, have fun. I want you to have fun because I'm going to want you to come back. If I ask you anything, John, that you don't want to talk about, all you got to do is say, Rev, I'd rather move on off that topic, and it's a done deal. But I thought what I would do first, I'm going to have you introduce yourself to everybody, tell everybody a little bit about your gift, how you became John the Vegas Seer, your history in performing magic, and then I'm going to turn the show into basically a paranormal ministry version of your show and have you I'll throw some topics at you and you just do your psychic thing and tell us what you think about these topics I'll throw at you. But first, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Excellent. Sounds like a good set of rules. I am John, Vegas Seer. You can find me at vegasseer.com. I also can be found on meet.napkin.net. It's a whole deal website. I work with Cheeky Hot, the rock psychic a lot. We have a news channel with Psychic News, psychicnews.net, where we do weekly shows every Monday, 9 to 10 Eastern. Radio shows where we pick topics in the news and try to do psychic predictions around them.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool.
And as far as getting started with the psychic, I did a lot in Vegas doing street magic, traveled a lot, been to all kinds of Civil War battlefields and stuff like that. So definitely have a tune for ghosts and history and all the spirits and energy attached to those things. That's always been a lot of fun to get into.
I know you haven't been spending a lot of time recently in Vegas. Do you miss it? And speak on, a lot of people don't realize this, how really haunted Vegas is, all parts of Vegas. Speak a little bit about your history as a street performer and a little bit about the history of haunted Vegas.
Oh, Vegas has a bunch of history between the Native Americans, the Spanish-American War, the Mormon immigrants that originally settled, all the mob history, the boom and fall and reboom of Vegas, all the industrials with the military bases and all the construction projects with, you got Hoover Dam an hour away, you got the Grand Canyon a couple hours away, Valley of Fire. It's all right there in this giant bowl of mountains in the desert. So there's all kinds of energy in there.
You know what? I think I, at one time or another, have worked every kind of case here you can imagine. I've been blessed to have been asked to come out to, like you heard me earlier in my monologue. I worked a couple of cases out at one of the nearby Indian reservations. I've worked cases in the casinos. I've worked cases in some of those little roadside, strip side hotels, flop houses. A lot of houses that have been built out here on previous Indian land. Let me tell you a weird story. There's a park, like all of a sudden in this residential area in the middle of nowhere. It sticks out like a sore thumb. There's this little park out here called Spanish Trail Park. And when you go into this park, it's just a regular, typical little park, but it looks like it's got this dirt road that goes right through the middle of the park. And there's these little posts, and every post has a little, like a sign on it. When you go up to read it, it's some part of history about the Spanish Trail. And what you realize is you're actually walking on.
Yeah, you're walking the old Spanish Trail.
They reserved an actual portion of it and then built the park around this. And I remember going there many times, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and just sitting there on a bench in the dark, turn my tape recorder on and just sit there for about an hour, meditating, thinking about things, whatever, and then turning my tape recorder off and going home. And I've caught I've caught Indian chanting, I've caught stagecoaches, I've caught horses, gunshots.
Yep.
Just incredible. So yeah, that you touched a base on that history, and it's
there's a lot of that kind of history in that area, tons of it.
well. Listen, this is what we're gonna do. Um, I know that you have Psychic News Network,
Yes.
psychicnews.net. You're also a
Mm-hmm.
minister at Love's Church. We'll talk about
Yep.
that a little bit later.
Recently ordained.
I've
Super
got a
excited
list.
about that.
God bless you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People have sent me in some topics here, and we'll turn this into a little bit of a version of your show on
Okay.
my show. And what I find interesting about some of these things, I think it was meant in the cards, if you will, for us to talk about some of these things because not only did I pull some of them off of your bio, but then people sent me in the same topics without me even throwing out anything. And then some of them are things that I've even been thinking about lately before I even looked at your bio. So I think it's meant to be that we talk about this. Let me warn you about one thing though. In the almost 8 years I've been doing this show, I have had a few episodes taken down by Facebook and
All right. I'll do my best
YouTube.
to keep it as neutral as I can.
I'll tell you what it was back when the pandemic started. If I had
Mm-hmm.
anybody on that talked anything about really delved into the conspiracies about COVID or the vaccines, usually those episodes got taken down. Go
Mm-hmm.
figure. What are they trying
Yeah.
to hide there? And you know what? Who cares? If you want to talk about that stuff too,
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know if that even comes into play with your animal pathogens, but
Mm-hmm.
let's start with since I brought up this topic that might get the show taken off. And being a licensed veterinary technician,
Mm-hmm.
that's my day job. A lot of people don't know that. When I saw animal pathogens, I said, well, I've got to ask them about that.
Mm-hmm.
What's this topic, animal pathogens?
Okay. Well, there's a few different ones going down. We got the variation of a bird flu going around that's been able to infect household pets, particularly like cats or dogs who interact with the birds, like in the windowsill. That one's been going around the local veterinarians, and they've been seeing that pop up a lot. And that has to do with the evolution of diseases. That's just a thing that happens. The other one in the wildlife is akin to a prion disease that's affecting deer and elk populations across the entire country. And a lot of the forest rangers have been trying to track this, but they've had difficulty with it because these herds are, they're deer, they're skittish. And one of their questions they've been doing into is whether or not that it's transferable and whether or not it's transferable to their predators because they've been trying to introduce more mountain lions and wolves in the areas to help control these populations because they're trying to isolate the disease populations so they don't mix and spread. And they've concluded that it spreads a lot with mucus. And they've been partnering with local ranchers who have a lot of deer and elk naturally gathering in their areas because they got the big fields. Because some of these ranchers have reported mountain lions, and they've been working with the rangers to see if the mountain lions are infected by eating these deer and elk. And for the most part, they're not seeing anything like that, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
And through the psychic readings that I've worked with, mostly runes and cards, I've concluded that the disease is capable of dying off if the herds are isolated enough. But for the most part, what's going to need to happen is evolution and natural evolution of the deer and elk to become immune to these diseases.
This is all scary stuff
A little
because
bit.
everything on this planet is here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about I'm gonna try to walk a tightrope here.
Mm-hmm.
You think about COVID. I'm still fighting effects of the COVID I had over a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Scary stuff. I've had friends that died from it, and it got the big controversy. Did it
Mm-hmm.
escape from a lab? Was it just
Mm-hmm.
an infected bat that somebody ate some bat soup, got sick, and then spread it throughout China? Then it got here.
Mm-hmm.
How scary is some of that stuff, and how put on your John the Vegas Seer psychic network hat here
Okay.
and tell us how much do we actually really have to worry about? And are we going to find out some things about this that is just going to Like, are we ever going to get real disclosure on this? And is it going to blow us away? Are there going to be people that are going to have to answer for this? And just how scared should people be about all this craziness?
You can really just do your best at keeping yourself safe and clean. Yes, the diseases are real, and there's always going to be backstories on where it came from. And ultimately, it's just part of an overpopulated planet and competing for resources. And when you take mosquitoes, for example, when you keep creating pesticides to kill off the mosquitoes, the ones that survive are now going to be immune to it. So you got to come up with a new one. Same thing with these viruses and diseases amongst the animals and even the coronavirus. Once it survives, it's going to keep evolving till it can move through a population. So
very, very
as far
scary
as
stuff.
The best thing we can do for readings is just be aware of your surroundings, who you hang out with, who's vulnerable, who's not, and just make the best judgment for yourself and try to live peacefully in the process.
Yeah, it's all very, very scary stuff. And I don't know how. I know that you're recently ordained and you do a wonderful job on Love's Church. Let's talk a little bit about evil. I'm sure you've seen your fair share of evil. It comes in so many different forms. Sometimes it's so well disguised that sometimes people don't recognize it's true evil until it's too late. Let's talk about where evil plays a role in just how, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. Do you think the world's gone a bit, the word I want to use, bat crazy?
Yeah.
Do you and is how much do you think evil's involved in that, and where do we go from here?
It only takes a small amount of individuals with malice intent to cause a problem. Most people, for the most part, are generally nice and helpful and decent individuals. And if you got a decent set of intuition, you can usually tell it apart right away who's who on first impressions. Some are better at hiding it. But as far as actual evil, it's all fear based. Who's competing for resources? Oh, I don't know if I have enough, so I'll be vindictive about it.
People, man, and I throw myself right in there about buying into the fear mongering. It can be debilitating, and
absolutely.
I've found myself a time or two buying into that. And you're right. It's like I all the things, I'm not going to try and make light of having come face to face and with true evil and battling that on many occasions. But like in all the years I was just having fun as a ghost hunter, ghostbuster. I think some of the truest evil that I've encountered were just other people.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're right. It's just
it only takes a very small few to cause a problem. Most people have good intentions.
I'll tell you what I'll do. What I do. I don't know if this works for everybody. I do believe in the power of prayer. I do a lot of praying. I'm the kind of guy now. I wasn't once like this, trust me, but I'm the kind of guy now that really works hard on praying for my enemies, turning the other cheek, and I just do my very best, no matter how hard it tries to sink its, talons into me and pull me down. I try to avoid drama as much as I can, and not try and be a drama queen, for lack of a better term, and contribute drama.
Just try not to feed into it.
For all those people out there that are just wondering why they're so miserable and life for them right now sucks, and they seem to not want to go out around people, and they don't like people, and they don't like the way things are going, and they don't like the way their life is going, and they're feeling so much anger and being scared about what's going on out there in the world. What words of advice would you like to throw out there? to all those people, and I hear from them every day.
Well, you'd be surprised how much the smallest amount of sheer will can be used to overcome this biggest of obstacles. Point where you're like, oh man, I don't know where my next meal is coming from. If you have the sheer bit of will that says, I am going to eat a healthy, nutritious meal, you will find one from the unlikely of places. Even if it's just a friend that reaches out to you and you haven't seen them in years and you realize, oh, they're right next door down the street this whole time. You have a friend down the street who will probably help you if you ask for it.
Yeah, we got to get that. We got to get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get back to that. We really do.
Everyone expects the big government or whatever entity, government source, to be the source of all their answers and the resources they need to survive, but don't realize how much is available in their own community. So network is my advice. Talk to your neighbors, reach out to your local communities. You'd be surprised how many resources you can find down the street within walking distance.
What I think, you mentioned something about government there, and the word that popped into my head that flashed was Big Brother. And I know that term has been thrown around forever, and it's been played out. But I think people are realizing now that there's somebody. I mean, you go back to Trump, and he talked about draining the swamp, and then you look at who's in the White House now. But people are now realizing now that there's somebody that we don't even know. Somebody knows, but somebody that like you and I, and maybe you do know, I don't know, but there's somebody in charge that put who they wanted in the White House this time, and that they're pulling the strings. He's not pulling the strings. And that's the scary thing. And people right now, that a lot of people reach out to me feeling so, what's the use in going on? What's the use in voting? What's the use in speaking my mind and going through all that, because we are not in charge, and they just feel like giving up. When I throw something like that at you, what do you think? What do you feel? What's your vibe tell you about that?
If you
and I know you got a, I won't tap too into. I know you got a military background,
a little bit.
No,
but the idea of, if you believe that you are capable of doing something and you have the ability to do it, you should do it if it's something you truly believe into, and as far as getting involved and being the change you want to see. Whether that be getting involved in local politics or whatever else in that you think would make a difference, that you are passionate about. If you're passionate enough about it, you have the force of will to get involved and make the change you want to see. So you can sit there and say, I don't know what to do. I don't have an answer. Well, okay. If you don't have an answer, that's okay. It's okay not to have an answer. But if you believe that much into it, then you have all you need to get involved and make a change.
You and I both have this in common. You're a recently ordained minister, and you do a wonderful show on the Love's Church. Now, I have, and it's always been there, generation after generation, age after age. There's always been religious persecution, hate crimes, anti-Semitism. But it feels, I don't know if it's just because I'm an ordained minister too. Well, I don't really talk so much about being that anymore. I'm now a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I've kind of turned the page on the other stuff prior to that. But being clergy, if you will, it seems to me like right now, more so than any time in the 63 years I've been alive, that I can remember religious persecution being at the level it's at. Do you find much of that coming your way now that you're an ordained minister and doing a program on Love's Church?
Somewhat, not really, but there's always, you're always going to find flaws in things you pay attention to. It's always been there. It just has different colors. It's normal.
Well, I applaud you for doing all the stuff you do, man. You know, if you come back to Vegas to visit and say, well, you know, I'm bored tonight, I'm going to go down to the Strip or Fremont Street and do a little bit of my old John the Vegas Seer stuff. Let me know. I'd like to come in person, see you at work, and check that out. Okay, let's get into some paranormal stuff.
All right.
And it's so funny. People sent me in the same topics I pulled off your bio and things that have been on my mind. Let's first talk about meteors. Everybody's like, is it end of times? Rev, Shawn, is it end of times yet? Are we going to, you know, is there a meteor coming and we don't know about it? Let's talk about meteors. Anything you want to tell us about that? And then let's talk about meteors that have entered our solar system that almost seem to have a life of their own, that people suspect are UAPs or alien vessels.
Yeah. All right. There's definitely been an uptick in attention drawn to space lately. And as the Earth orbits its sun, when our solar system goes through its pattern in space, we have seemed to have entered a cluster of asteroid field that has been sweeping through our solar system. And so we are in a little area where we're going to start getting hit with more meteor showers. And so you're going to see a lot more of that popping up lately in the next couple of years. As far as the oddball meteorites coming through, there was one that was found by the Harvard astrophysics scientist that got a lot of publicity. He found a strange meteor that was going through past the sun. It came around and then it just changed directions and speeds and went off another direction as it passed Earth. And in his studies, he was curious what it was because it was oddly shaped. It had a strange density. The way it was moving was odd. And so he put it out to his peers to say, hey, what do you think this is? And they all submitted their documentation of what they thought it was. He's like, no, it can't be that. No, it can't be that. No, it doesn't match that. And so he concluded, well, it might be artificial, which leads to the idea that it might be alien. So that was that one.
What do you think?
And my readings on it, I think it's alien. And it makes sense that it would be, because if you have a ship flying through unknown area, you probably want to camouflage it. And with a strange flight path and the admission that there was communication sent, it's got to be alien, man.
Okay, let's talk about aliens among us.
Yes, aliens among us.
And you've got a military background. And I spent, a little time out on a, Navy ship. I was in the Navy, and I was a radio man. So I was in just below where the signalmen were at the crow's nest, the radio shack. And I had top secret clearance, and we would go out sometimes and spend months out at sea. And I have to tell you, saw my fair share of
unexplainables,
submerged alien phenomena, unidentified submerged objects. And the thing was that as soon as you would see something, you started getting memos to keep your mouth shut, not talk about it.
Yep.
I get these messages that need to come off the teletype that I would have to take directly to the captain personally, and I would read them. And sometimes they would talk about things. I'm like, this is freaking crazy. This is like Star Trek stuff. And they always talk about nowadays disclosure, and God bless these aviators, these jet pilots that have come clean with their stories and their film footage of some of this stuff.
There's even a few Israeli scientists who are coming out with information that's interesting.
And I just like last night, I'm bored. I can't sleep. There's nothing on TV. I'm flipping around. And it just happened to be starting was a movie I love called Signs with Mel Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think we're ever going to actually get real, true, full disclosure by whoever it is in the government
Yes.
that's really in charge? You do believe we are?
Yes.
Do you think there's going to be mass hysteria, or can we handle it?
Mix. Some people are going to freak out and hide. Some people are getting excited and want to go meet them.
They're obviously here.
Yes.
They've obviously been here a long, long time. In
There
fact,
is some
you could be one or I could be
strange
one and we
stuff
wouldn't know
everywhere. There's a great temple in India that has several unexplained carvings. One of them, thousands of years old, has a carving of a bicycle, what is clearly a bicycle, on the inside of the temples. And it's a temple carving, and people say, "Oh, it's fake. Oh, it's been put there." And the archaeologists are like, "No, this stone's as old as this building, thousands of years old. Yet there's obviously a depiction of a bicycle long before they existed. Come on."
Do you think they've successfully bred with us, and that we do have these alien hybrids walking around? They're cool people. They don't get any, weird powers. They know what's going on, but they're really good at camouflaging what they really are, and they're just normal folk. They appear to be normal folk like you and I, and they're among us.
There are definitely some compelling stories that suggest yes. Whether or not they're verifiable is still up for debate, but it's entirely plausible.
I'm telling you, man. I don't know.
One of my favorite examples is the octopus. The octopus is obviously, and I've done so many readings on octopus because they're fascinating.
Yes.
The octopus is from Earth. However, it has an equal level of intelligence and problem solving as humans. It plans ahead. It uses tools. It can obviously talk. They did a recent experiment where they were putting probes inside the octopus to try and read its brain waves, but the octopus kept taking them off. So they decided to surgically put one in so it couldn't take it out. And they released it in the wild. And they picked up a 2 hertz brainwave off of the octopus, which no creature has been recorded to emit. And through my readings, that brainwave was a message of distress and annoyance. So obviously it was bothered by the fact that it had this thing put in its head that it is aware of and can't get out. It's like that this thing's intelligent. It's an alien, damn it.
Did you ever see the movie Arrival?
No.
Good movie. And the aliens on that they appeared to look like octopuses.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was a very interesting movie, very different take on that. But the octopus thing, yeah, I've read about that.
Yes,
that's
very actually the comparison with the Oumuamua asteroid that came through space. The Harvard scientist, the astrophysicist, it came through space and left. And in my readings, it was like, hey, there was a message sent to this spaceship, and it said no. They're like, hey, you want to come to Earth? No. We'll meet you halfway on the moon. No, we don't want anything to do with this.
What do you think about the oceans? I have a theory. Of course, I don't know anything. I have a theory that there's stuff going on down there. That why are we? We don't need to be looking up to the stars. It's below us. It's here already.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely a lot of cool stuff in the ocean, and we haven't even touched a tenth of it.
Do you believe in ghosts?
To an extent, yes. There's definitely a way that when something dies, it can definitely, if it gets, leave an attachment to an area. If it has a strong force of will that it doesn't want to leave, it can figure out a way to stay.
I've been kind of messing around with ghosts since I was a young boy. And I have a theory that, I get a lot of pushback from people in the paranormal community. I have a theory that ghost hunting, ghost busting, paranormal investigating, all of that, has always been, still is, and will always be a spiritual journey. You experience things. You tell your stories. You might capture a little evidence. Can you prove it's the evidence of life after death? No. But if you believe, you believe. And if you don't, you don't. That's okay. I don't judge. But do you think if ghosts are real, do you think I'm ever going to the only way you can ever actually prove that they do, and I believe in them, is to have one actually sit here next to me and either co-host the show with me or me get one on TV like I have you on here and interview one. And we talked about full disclosure later.
That would be impressive.
Do you think the ghosts are ever going to allow us to have full disclosure about what's on the other side of the veil, or do you think it'll always remain a spiritual journey?
I mean, there's magic in the mystery, and once you reveal the mystery, the magic's over. So, yeah.
You're magic. You have a magic background. You're very good. Is it? I know some people out there that go, oh, he's a magician. He's into devil worship. He's really, really good. Oh, he must have made a pact with the devil to be that good with magic.
There's definitely a folklore around it. There's definitely an interesting
talk
folklore.
About all of that. Put that stuff to rest. Well, having said that, I've met some magicians that are a little creepy and did some stuff that I'm like, I've never seen anybody do that before. That's creepy. But I don't believe that that's true. I don't, I could be wrong. I don't believe these great magicians are devil worshippers. They made a pact with the devil and they sold their souls. That's why they're so good at what they do. I just believe they're extremely talented performers and individuals that have spent their life honing their craft, and they're just really good at what they do. Talk to people about that.
That's 90% of it. It's like cooking. Some people are really good at cooking, and some people just are really good at cooking one thing. And if you practice something enough, if you get involved in it enough, you can rise or fall based on your own efforts. It's that simple.
I can't wait to if you come back to visit. I got to see you down there on the streets.
All right.
Doing your street magic. I think street magic is very underrated.
There's definitely been a few shows that are gone into it. It's interesting.
Yeah, I love it, and we have a lot of really good ones still down here, roaming around. You got to go down there and search them out, but they're there, and I love that. And there's something about being on the street, walking up onto and interacting with a really talented, good street performer that's been doing it a long time, different than buying $100 ticket and goes, David Copperfield, yeah, he's great. But there's something, that's different. You pay $100, you go in a theater and you watch David Copperfield. There's something different about just being down on the strip or down on Fremont Street and running into a really talented, passionate, good street performer, regardless of what it is he's doing. But some of the street magicians down there, they blow you away. I mean, I've seen guys levitate, and you can't figure out how they're doing it, and you're standing right there. Pretty amazing, amazing stuff. And me doing what I do, and I'm the first one to admit I probably have been tricked many times by demons and thinking that this is just a ghost and it's really a demon, or this is a demon, it's really a ghost. I pride myself on having a pretty good, I call it my spidey sense when I'm around the demonic or something around evil. And some of these guys that have done stuff that people say, oh, he's got to have made a pact with the devil. I don't get that spidey sense about any evil, anything evil about them. They're just really good at what they do. Okay, next topic. We covered the meteors. We covered the animal pathogens. Okay, this one's right in your wheelhouse, I think. And it's been going on forever. And it's been going on. I know you think I'm going to talk about crop circles because I saw signs last night. And if we have time for that, I might go into the crop circles.
Okay.
Hi, Jerry. Jerry says ghosts are not going to talk to you. They might send you a good vibe. They don't speak. I love you, Jerry. It's true. I've never had a ghost speak to me. I've had a demon speak to me through a person, which is that will change your life. And I've caught what appear to be disembodied human voices on tape recorders, but I've never actually. I have heard disembodied voices. Can I prove that they were ghosts? No. But that's funny. Jerry's a friend of mine from the United States Old Catholic Church. She's a hoot. Cow and goat mutilations. Speaking of goats.
Yeah. Speaking of goats, hey, Shawn, I just want to kind of bring up a point with what Jerry just said there. Ghosts are not going to talk to you. I can't, to me, that kind of really rules out the one experience that I may have had. That kind of rules that out because I thought that something was calling my name and then it pulled my arm. Something pulled my arm. So if they're not going to talk to you, that kind of rules out the one experience I had, don't you think?
Well, like you take 100 people, 50 people are going to be diehard, over the top believers in spirits, and that you can communicate with them, and they can communicate with you, and 50 of them are going to say it's all nonsense and they can't speak to you. And if something is able to touch you and speak to you, it's usually their belief system is that it's something darker, more malevolent, more powerful than just a disembodied human spirit, and you've got to back off because you're being targeted. Um, I'm with you, Zach. I've seen too much and have experienced too much in my life to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say that they don't exist and they can't communicate with you. Because as a young child, I was seeing them and having them reach out to me and try to communicate with me. And the only person I could confide in was my mother. God bless her, may she rest in peace. Um, who told me, and this is a devout Catholic and a very spiritual woman from Brazil who lived in a town called Cruz das Almas, which there's no veil there. The dead walk among the living is that like it's normal. And that village actually held a record in the Guinness Book of World Records once as being the village with the most churches in the world. I don't know if it still holds that record, but I used to come to her and tell her what is this that I'm seeing and that's coming to me, and she said they're ghosts and they're people that just don't have a body any longer, and if they come to you, it's because they know you can see them, and they either have a message for you or they need your help with something, and if you're not so scared that you can't help them or ask them what it is you want from me or what is your message, then just tell them to not bother you any longer and go away, and they will. So for whatever that's worth, that's it. But I do believe in them, and I do believe that if they really want to get a message to you and communicate with you, they'll find a way. If it's important enough to them, they'll find a way. But you do have to be very careful. Many that can come to you and appear to you like a solid three-dimensional person and act like a ghost. Many times it's something more than that, something more malevolent that's trying to trick you, and you've got to be very careful. But I think, especially you, Zach, you've gone on some of these events with your wife, Adrian, and everybody knows she's the ghost gal. You probably had a spirit reaching out to you. It's very common to have you hear them calling your name. That's a direct. They're trying to communicate with you for some reason at that time.
Well, and my experience was simply this. It's like I had something, a female voice that was saying, "Zach, wake up, wake up," and then it kind of shook me a little bit. And when I woke up, I looked around and Adrian was asleep. I was, there was nobody else in the room. When I went back to sleep, I heard a screaming, and my arm got, I don't know if it was a suggestion because that was my, my mind playing jokes on me, because I was open to suggestion. That was the first time I'd ever went on a ghost hunt or any of that, or if I had brought something back with me. So people like Jerry, when she says something like that, that kind of makes me sit there and go, my mind was way too open to suggestion. So I just wanted to bring that up and see what your guys' thoughts were on that.
And Jerry could be 100% correct. And who knows? Like I said, it's a spiritual journey. Everybody, you either have your diehard believers and you have your diehard skeptics. I don't judge either way, and I appreciate everybody's opinion. I can't prove ghosts exist. I believe in them. I can't prove demons exist. I believe in them. So it is what it is. I've noticed. I'm just going to throw this observation out. I've known you a long time, Zach. I knew the Zach before he married Adrian, And I know the Zach now who's been married to Adrian a while. And I know you're an intelligent enough man to not just buy into the hysteria because you're married to Ghost Gal, you know. I think you're on still on the fence, but you're totally about to fall on our side.
Well,
You're hanging on by your fingernails. You're fighting it. But you're about to fall on our side.
I'm too fat to be sitting on top of the fence, so I've got to fall one way or the other. So,
well, one of the things that's definitely been helpful for me as a piece of advice is every story, regardless how crazy, has a grain of truth in it somewhere.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, Jerry's back. She says she's got some kind of demon here. It keeps stopping your video. Uh-oh.
That's okay. Send it over to me. I'll say hi to it.
As soon as we start talking about that stuff. But I've got a few minutes left before I have to kick you out of here. Real quick, did you have fun when you come back?
Absolutely. I would love to come back. It was a great time.
Maybe I'll get you and Chicky on together.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Because I still have a bunch of... I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get through all the topics here that people had sent in to talk to you about. But in the short time we have left...
Okay.
And I'm going to save the crop circles till the next time you come back.
All right.
I watched Signs last night. I love the movie. Cow and goat mutilations.
Yes. They've been popping up all around the Midwest and Texas.
Again. And for a while there was, they were big when they started happening back in the day. Then they never really stopped, but people just for many, many years didn't talk about it. Now they're on a big time rise again. And there still is no disclosure about it. There still is nobody that has been able to debunk what it is. And you have people that, some of the smartest people on the planet don't know what the hell is going on. What's your gut hunch feeling tell you?
Well, I was doing readings on this one earlier today, and there's actually two opposing theories because we go into some detail with this on the psychicnews.net. The Rock Psychic and myself have opposing views on this. I think a lot of it is a hoax, just distraction. Someone had way too much time on their hand and just had fun making a alien involvement hoax to stir up whatever drama. Where the opposing view is there's some actually alien involvement and they're harvesting these parts because they're a delicacy. But
that's scary because if they're harvesting delicacy in terms of being able to use for reproductive or to ingest.
To ingest. As in
scary
the tongue
about that
of the cow is a delicacy.
Yeah, well, we're next on the, if that's the case, then we're next on the menu.
Possibly.
And that's scary because how many people disappear all the freaking... They don't talk about it anymore, how out of control it is, people just disappearing. With no trace.
The other piece of information that we got from our readings was that this is going to be continuing a little bit more because there is some that aren't even get reported because some farms just don't want to talk about it.
Absolutely. They don't want the backlash. They don't
want the backlash, they don't want the publicity, and they don't want the attention.
It's scary stuff, man. There's a lot of scary stuff going on in the world. I'll tell you, and for whoever's watching or listening that may need to hear this, maybe nobody needs to hear this, but I'll tell you what, I have a very overactive imagination, and I'll catch myself, like I said earlier in the show, many times buying into the hysteria of some things until I, stub my pinky toe on a piece of furniture, walk into the kitchen, and reality sets in. What has been the biggest thing to me since I was a young kid and all my life is the strength of my faith and being strong in my faith and knowing, it's like right now I'm in the middle of a class on Revelations, which, all of this stuff can happen and it doesn't matter because I won't be here anyhow. I'll be in heaven watching it all. But if you believe in the power of prayer and you're strong in your faith, regardless of what religious belief system you're in, you come from, and I don't judge. I've got friends that are Jews, Muslims, Buddhist, you name it. If you're strong in your faith, you'll be okay, and your psychologically you'll stay strong. And
Mhm.
I'll end it on that. But brother, I love you. I respect you. You're a
Yes.
handsome man, so well
Thank
spoken. I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody something that you're probably going to get upset. I'm going to do. I know you and Chicky are seeing each other. You two, both of you couldn't have found a better person to have as a partner in paranormal
you.
psychic crime, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, I look for great things from you on Nappin and Love's Church and Psychic News Network. I hope everybody follows your shows, tunes into you. I'm going to have you back, I promise. Because, like I said, I've got at least a half a dozen or more topics here I didn't even get to. But give Chicky a big hug and a kiss for me.
Mhm.
Tell her I love her too. And have a great remainder to your Monday evening, brother. And I'll be in touch.
Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you again, and thank you again.
You got it, brother. God bless you. I'll
Mhm.
see you later. Okay, real quick.
Well,
I'm
just to
glad
let
you
every
I'm glad you popped on real quick. I was going to ask you. I know you changed your show to tonight, and I know you've got a big show coming up.
well, it's a
Ta-
replay tonight.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just a replay tonight, but yes, we had our first show of Mayday. We have a problem talking about suicide, but yes, we're going to be replaying it on the PAC channels. And we were lucky enough to have Jeremy from Things Network also reach out and say utilize our channel as well. So we greatly appreciate that. But we started to discuss some really good things and really tough things. You know, we heard a story about a gentleman who he was look, if the thought of his parents didn't come through his head, he wouldn't be with us no more, and he would have taken his life. And this is a gentleman who has served our country and started a foundation himself and done a lot of things to try to help out other people. And so we're recording an interview for next week already, tomorrow night. And I mean, things are really moving along, Shawn. And the great thing about this is, you know, like I mentioned earlier today, suicide has gotten to the point where it's like cancer. Every single one of us knows somebody who's been affected by it because the numbers are just horrendous right now. Um, and you know, we need to find a way to make sure that we're there for people. So, but
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm thrilled that I'm working with the great people that I'm working with, and we're putting together these wonderful shows.
Very cool. God bless you, brother. You do
So,
good work.
and then just to let you know, man, all's good. It's the end of the first period. There's no score yet, but the Devils are playing well. So I just thought I'd update you on that.
All right.
I know
God
that you were
bless
dying to hear that.
you. John the Vegas Seer. I promise, guys, I'll have him back. And I want to thank Zach and Adrian Clayton, my co-producers, for producing my show. I'm totally computer illiterate, so if it wasn't for them, um, I couldn't do this. Um, CommunityPayItForward.us. CommunityPayItForward.us. Go there, buy something, support them. Anytime you buy something and support anybody there, you're helping somebody that really needs some help. The church I belong to, usocc.org. usocc.org. If you're interested in Bible study, which is every Wednesday and Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. Pacific, go to, well, actually, it's on Facebook Live. So go to the United States Old Catholic Church Clergy and Parishioners Facebook page, Wednesday and Sunday afternoons at 5 p.m. Pacific for Bible study. But if you're interested in night prayer, which is every weeknight, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, go to bishopjameslong.com, scroll down to the bottom of his homepage, and you'll see the link to go to night prayer there. Um, Thank you to Things Network. Thank you to Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. Thank you to Skeleton Key Network. Thank you to PACT, little p, capital ACT, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel, for all of these shows, simulcasting my show. and BeInspiredRadio.net. BeInspiredRadio.net. Chicky Hot's radio network. She airs audio re-airs of my show Saturdays all day, and she's got a lot of other really cool shows there, including John the Vegas Seer and replays of old Art Bell shows and Chicky's show. So go there, BeInspiredRadio.net. And it's official. Mark your calendars. Premiering next month, Thursday, June 1st at 10 p.m. on Travel Channel, Discovery Plus, Max, is Eli Roth Presents The Legion of Exorcists, a new horror paranormal reality television series, which I happen to be a cast member of. So I'm blessed to announce that.
Yeah, who stars in that?
What were they thinking getting me on there? But I am blessed to be a part of that project. And I just feel so blessed to be a cast member. And been working on it since before the pandemic. So everybody on that show has put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. We're all proud of it. And we pray that you all enjoy it. So that's next month. I'll be here this coming Friday. Oh, this is first Friday. You know what that is? May 5th. The monthly series, Christian Supernatural with demonologist Ira Wolfnesson, this Friday, May 5th. Okay. Bad joke time. I'm going to pull a bad joke that one of you sent in out of this haunted carnival barker hat. It's my poor attempt to put a smile on everybody's face before I say goodnight. Where was King David's temple located? Beside his ear. Good night, Jack. Good night, dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all. Peace.